Hello to you, my fellow Dark Ones. How are you guys doing today? How's life? If you guys remember, last episode I did mention that we need to fix ore processing. The situation with our ore processing is in two folds. One is that I have to optimize the ore processing situation, and the second one is I need more miners. So welcome to the assembly line for Morid miners. And yes, we're going to have a crazy number of them. 49 to be exact. Well, we have 6, so I need to make like 43 of them. It's gonna be fun. Basically what I have done is that I have put all the ingredients inside hoppers, they go automatically inside the sacrificial bowls, and I don't think this part can be automated, I have to do this by hand. In Enigmatica 6 there was a way of doing that, but that was an extra config. So I'll be here for, I don't know, a few hours. It's actually not that bad if you do it in a row, I think. Also, another very good thing that saves me a lot of time is that we were harvesting Afrit essence, just for fun. We had 110, I need like 40. I say all of that and I just reached my first Morid. Oh boy, it is a bit of a tedious process, but actually it's not going that bad. I mean, the Morid one is going to take a few hours, I guess, but so far we have 4 of them. Are they all going to have different names? That's gonna be weird. The 5th one just popped off. Maybe it's not that bad. A bit of unnecessary and very unimportant information is that the time it takes to make the foliot as well as the genie is exactly the same. This one should pop off any second. Yep. And the Afrit and the Morid on the other hand are also exactly the same. And they do take exactly twice as long. Oh, and by the way, so far we have 12 of them. It's not that bad, we're 25% there. And yeah, everyone has almost a different name, which is weird. The number 49 was not an arbitrary number, it's enough for a 7x7 of dimensional mineshafts, correct? I thought maybe 5x5 is not going to be enough, 6x6 is really not gonna happen in Minecraft, so we had to go with 7x7. I think I'm almost done with foliots and genies, Morids and Afrits are remaining, and we have 21 lamps, the Morid version. And yeah, every one of them has a different name. I was curious. So the 21 that I just crafted and the 6 that we have down here equals 27. That's enough for a 5x5, so I think maybe I should start automating it. Because this system with conduits is not really working. I mean, it works for 6, it doesn't work for 49. When I was playing Enigmatica 6, I came up with a solution using builders. Let me try to see if that works. Also, one of the main problems that I have is that I'm having inconsistencies with loaded chunks. So yeah, even though these guys are set on a timer, if I'm not here, there's always a risk that they don't get repaired. So we want something that actually works at all times. It might not be a chunk issue, maybe it's Ender IO. Okay, so first off, this is just for testing purposes, and I'm using the Morid miners that we already had up there. And as you guys probably know, the way that you would automate a dimensional mineshaft is that you would insert the genie from the top and extract the ores from the bottom. So what we want to do is that we want to be able to extract the miners, put them inside that XP tank so that they would get repaired, and then distribute them back inside the mine shafts. So the way that the system works is that I have 2 builders. One of them is going to break all the dimensional mine shafts using a quarry card. So if we activate it, all of them are gone. And some ores, which is not good. But anyways, the dimensional mine shafts go inside the second builder, and he's going to place it for us. I do have an item collector which is going to pick up the Morid miners and put them inside a chest, and hopefully they get repaired. And you know, go back into the shafts. Problem last time was that I was losing miners, which I lost one more time. Why does this happen? I think it's because of the Ender IO tank. It pushes too many of them inside at the same time. Yeah, exactly. Okay, I just lost another miner. I think I did manage to find a workaround, so we're going to use XNet, we're going to extract the items from the barrel, and then XNet is configured to have only one item inside this tank. And yes, XNet needs power. Sorry, you don't insert it into the controller, you insert it into the tank. My bad, did we lose anything? Well, one is in there, one is in here, so no. We did not lose anything. I think that's a good solution. Well, it does seem pretty consistent, I have not lost any miners, and well, I even have my timer set up. It's set on 6 minutes. So every 6 minutes we're going to get a pulse from the hovering hourglass, this builder is going to be activated, it's going to remove the dimensional mine shafts, and then this builder is just continuously trying to place them. Oh, and by the way, the reason that we were getting ores is actually not very complicated. The barrel was full, so some of them were stuck inside the dimensional mine shafts. That's really not gonna happen anymore because I took care of it. I'm just standing over here so that you would also be able to see. It's like 1 pixel any second. Yep, and just to make sure we haven't lost anything, let's mine the mine shafts. You see? The miners are here, all 4 of them. The only thing is that I think I need a pulse extender for like 1 second. It's not a big deal. Create has an option. There is nothing from create. What? It's fine, I can make a pulse extender. I can't find it. So I added 9 more miners, and yes, I have to do a lot more, but I think it's time to do some filtering, because the chest is getting full. Some of the ores that we're getting cannot be processed by GregTech, so they just have to go to our normal processing. I'm not really going to change this system that much. We're just going to entangle this barrel to over here. So something like ancient debris goes in there. It's the standard process. Isnium is the same. Why are we getting so many ores? And I guess everything that we have from Forbidden and Arcanus. And to be honest with you, for the rest of the items, I actually have to check them one by one. Some of the ores like redstone, which doesn't show up in the JI, can be processed by GregTech, but some ores cannot. For example, iron. And I kind of have to redo my entire ore processing setup. It's just filtering. But it's a lot. This is a very simple pulse extender and well, it does work. It does give the builder enough time to harvest all of the dimensional mine shafts. You know, if we give it a pulse, it takes a bit of time, which is good. However, do you want to hear something weird? I have a pulse repeater from Create. Exactly remember making this because of the plates, but I can't make any more. I don't know why. It's not showing up in the JEI. I did exactly one update when thermal expansion came out. That could be the reason. Maybe they fixed it, I don't have it. But yeah, it works beautifully. However, we're entering a part where it's not very relevant to you, so I will just bring you back for the end result, but basically I have to process all of these. Again, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a few hours later, and I just wanted to present to you our brand new ore processing center. It's so efficient that you don't even need to have machines inside. No, I'm joking. I actually had to move everything to a brand new location because I was going to add more machines, I was going to upgrade all the machines, and I thought the FPS is going to drop. I mean, over here it was always around 110, like you see, but after I have made the base and added more machines, it fell down to around 90. Now we are above 100 again, which is great. For me it doesn't really matter, but when you're recording video, it kind of matters. Everything has been moved to our tower, the Meteor Tower. Which we're not going to use it for meteors ever again. You might notice that we have a macerator, we have an ore washer, we have 2 centrifuges because centrifuges have 2 functions. One of them of course is being a centrifuge, the other one is a thermal centrifuge. One machine cannot be both at the same time, hence we have 2 of them. And up there we have an electrolyzer. To be very honest with you, this part was the easy part, but filtering is gonna take ages. Last time that I did that, it took me like 5 hours, 6 hours. So he just spawned. Jerk. Really hard to kill people in F5. Anyways, I was going to say, see you in about 5 hours. Oh, and yes, there's also a sifter. I'm not gonna do that. It's going to be amazing for something like coal, but I'm not gonna do that. A bit of a break. Welcome to Abydos. I just came here to steal some transport rings and some panels. There are so many pyramids here. However, around 7 hours later, and yes, we finally have an ore processing. I am extremely glad that we have done this because one of the things that I have missed was boron. And we need it for the next age. So yeah, we're basically macerating, washing, thermally centrifuging and electrolyzing. And we're getting almost everything possible, except one thing that I should not have done, and that is a stupid crystal. And I can't find it. Well, the crystal that I thought I was processing was called olivine, and we need its plates in order to make the next tier of circuits. I mean, not the next one, the next one. Yeah, I think it's for UV age, which is fine. For the transport rings, I just noticed that our base is getting too big and I need to expand it as well. So I spend a lot of time just traveling around. I installed a few panels and they're not that bad. Yeah. It's convenient. We do have quite a bit, don't you worry. But the actual panel is limited to 6. All of that being said and done, I added 9 more miners and I think we have a total of 22 of them at this very moment. The supply of ores is not that bad, so I'm not really sure if I want to have 49 of them or not. We will see. But what is the rest of the plan? Good question. We need to start advancing to the ZPM age because we need to start having fusion reactors. They're actually going to give us some things that we can't really get without a fusion reactor, like europium or americium. And the problem that we have with the fusion reactors is that you might notice they require another mainframe. So yeah, we need to go to the ZPM tier, and there are a few things that we need to do. One of them is the metal that we need. The next metal is called trinium. This is going to be for ZPM age, and we need to mix it with naquata so that we would be able to make the machine halls. Getting it is a bit painful, but that's something to remember. And you can't get trinium, you have to get the trinium sulfide. The second thing that we need to do is to get the new processors. So where do we begin? I don't really know, but I'm assuming a brand new expansion to our base is a bit necessary necessary. I need more automations. Since I need to do a lot of digging, I thought maybe I should upgrade the Terra Shatterer to tier S, and well, here is a dominant augment, some mana-tight bellows, and I guess you go in. I don't think we have enough mana for this. Currently it's rank A, so yeah. I don't really know what I was thinking. I think we need like 10 mana pools and well, we didn't even dent the mana. But yeah, this is going to be our new expansion for the new machines. The problem is, we don't have the new machines. So there is something called a chemical reactor, which has a basic version, Advanced version Mark II, Advanced version Mark III, Elite, Elite Mark II, Elite Mark III, Ultimate Chemical Reactor, Large Chemical Reactor, an advanced large chemical reactor. We want this one. No, but joking aside, it's exactly like the multi-blocks, but the difference is that it can paralyze operations. And yeah, it's a teeny tiny bit bigger. I think we want 4 of them. And for crafting it, yeah, it's gonna be fun. I just thought that instead of saying it's been a few hours later, I show you some of that few hours. We're crafting stuff. A lot of stuff. Aha, a few hours later. No, actually not that much. But what we are going to try and attempt and do is to make 6 large chemical reactors. The problem is that I'm not exactly sure how the recipe is going to work. Do the fluids have to be in order? Well, let us try. This is an assembly line, so yeah, the items have to be in order. You know, the chemical reactor goes first, then the circuits, then this nitinol plate. It wasn't that difficult to make, I just made it manually. And platinum cables. Let's mess up the recipe with the fluids. The first one has to be copper, we're gonna put in tin. Then we put the copper. The ones that I don't really want to mess up is actually lubricant. It was a pain to craft. It's very slow. And soldering alloy. It's working. Oh, okay, if that is the case, automating this should be super easy, because I don't have to get the fluid out of the input hatches. That's the important thing. Also, I don't know where's the output. Oh, here. We have it. So just out of extreme curiosity, how many input hatches can you have? Okay, it's not 6. 5? No. Okay, now it's not even forming. What did I do? Oh, the maximum is 4, then it's not good. I do have to empty the fluids. I am going to worry about it once we get there. By the time here we have the fluids, let's make 2 more. Just in case. My plan for today was to advance towards the ZPMH by making the metal that we need and also by making the circuit that we need, but unfortunately that plan has to be on hold. I think for this episode and also the next one because we do have a few issues. If you guys remember, we used to have around 4.5 million oak logs and well, now we have less than 1 million. We also used to have 2.5 million coal and well, you can see that we don't have it anymore. We are using those items in order to generate chemicals that we need from GregTech, so we're consuming them at an insane rate. Another slight problem that you might notice is that we don't have fluorides. And yes, since I have started reducing the size of the drills, we are getting them, but at a very low rate. I mean really low, because it's been a few seconds and you don't even see a gem. So without those things, we can't really progress, we have to fix them. And I thought maybe we should start with our mob system. While I was working on making sulfur in order to make fissile fuel, I realized something. It takes almost around 30 seconds for a simulation chamber to generate one prediction. It takes 3 seconds for a loot fabricator to generate the loot. Therefore, the system that you see in front of you is incredibly inefficient because, well, these guys are idle most of the time. Well, the reason that I did this is that I think in the past versions, the loot fabricator could only memorize one prediction. I could be very wrong, but I think in this version, it can remember a few things. So, for example, we have creepers. Let's order gunpowder. Now we're going to put the minotaur and order some myth. We put the ghast, we order some ghast tears, and I guess some slimes. Now, if we put the old prediction back, it still remembers that. Yeah, that was ghast. That is creepers, and that is the minotaur. So it could remember a few things. Basically what that means is that I have to redo this entire system and hopefully also make it a bit more lag friendly. I'll be right back. I thought one of the things that I should probably do is to start compacting the drawers. Not use the actual compacting drawers, but you know, instead of using the ones, use the 2x2s. Let's get some infinity pipe upgrades. I need to transfer millions of items and I thought, well, this is gonna be the best solution. And besides, it's temporary. Yeah. It's done. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while later and I have done some remodeling. First things first, you might notice that we have coal and thankfully it's rising. Very slowly, but over time it's actually rising. Secondly, having multiple loot fabricators on round robin makes it so that you would get all the loot. You see, we're getting emeralds and totems of undying from the same mob. You don't have to switch it, it's just random. And finally, I thought maybe we should have an iron golem as well. So yeah, we do. The data model is pretty much garbage, but it's gonna work eventually. So I'm happy with this because that means I'm no longer losing coal. And I also tried to make it a bit more lag friendly, so yeah, it was better. Now the problem is, we need to fix oak, or any type of log. I think it was a few episodes ago that we made this area over here so that I would be able to use phytogenic insulators in order to get oak. The problem is, I forgot to chunk load it. And well, honestly speaking, we're never here, so it wasn't really working. So now that I have been here, it has been running for a very long time, and yes, we are still losing wood. It's not as dramatic as it used to be, but still, we're losing it. So let's do something about it. So there is a creeper mod in this mod pack, and some of them drop logs. Unfortunately, none of them actually drops oak, so we might have to go with spruce, which also gives us gunpowder, or acacia. I think we go with spruce. Well, for that purpose, I need it to be nighttime for a while. And I'm going to go and try to find a creeper. It took like 5 seconds. You come with me? Well, not you in particular, just a swap. Well, we do have the chicken feed, but I have also kept some of the old spawners that we used to have. You know, this is exactly from when we were farming emeralds. They were right over here. The good thing about them is that they're almost maxed out. However, we need to decrease the spawning range. Yeah, that should be good. And one thing that I really want to try is that if we have you here, put the mob masher on top and, you know, get a lever. Will both of you work? Yes. Don't you worry. They don't have a brain. Honestly speaking, it doesn't seem to be that bad. The rates are good, but as usual, there are a few things that we need to void. We don't need Inferium, sadly we don't need hearts anymore, and also the charms. So we want you to output to the side. As for gunpowder and spruce, they just go into a drawer. So, up. Yeah, I mean seriously, it's really not that bad. I can live with that. Also, another good thing is that I used to stand on this stupid little tank in order to gain experience so that I can repair my miners. With this, we should be able to just have the tank. Although maybe a buffer would have been nice. Yeah, exactly. Much better. Well, in order to fix everything, let's try something. We're going to have a drawer and we're going to try and export every single piece of oak that we have in the system. Because I want to switch and I want to use the same dimensional chest, if it makes any sense. But you're slow. It's temporary. We use a pipe with infinity upgrade. Yeah, much better. I need to export like 1 million oak logs. That's a lot. I literally removed all the oak and now we also have to set a pattern for you. We wanted to make spruce, obviously. And it goes into the same dimensional chest. Perfect. I did try to make a tower in order to cover everything. It does look weird, especially the roof, but I did need some sort of an access hash to check the vacuum hopper. Because if a mob dies around here or something is dropped over here, it goes inside this vacuum hopper. And well, everything is filtered, so it will just clog up the system. Oh, and by the way, I did add 2 more spawners. So it's like way faster now. As for fluorite, I added 1 more laser. I had to. There was no other way. It has the gray lenses and, well, we're supposed to get fluorite. Yep. From time to time. That's where I'm also producing oil. But before moving to the ZPMH, there are a few things that we have to do over here at our chemical area, which has been neglected for a very long time. First off, I did remove the warden. We don't really need to produce sulfur anymore, so I removed most of the machines, and we almost have 9.6 million sulfur. That's a crazy number. But I have realized a lot of things that we are doing over here is actually being done at our own base as well. For example, the machines that you see in front of you are just making us oxygen and hydrogen. They're causing a lot of lag, so I can just remove them because oxygen and hydrogen in our system is kind of maxed out. We're just voiding it now. So let's just remove these things. I'm not even going to bother and pick up the machines. They can despawn. The reason that we were making sulfur around here was for fissile fuel. In my version, you could not use GregTech fluids in order to make fissile fuel. Apparently in the recent updates you can. So most of these things are redundant. Well, they're not totally redundant, so we need to substitute them. This one is actually just making us sulfuric acid, so this one can go. And it's a lot of machines. In any case, the recipe for sulfuric acid from Mechanism is actually way more inefficient than the one from GregTech. So in short, here's what we're going to do. We're going to assemble one of the advanced large chemical reactors that we made earlier, you know, the big guys. And I think at our current age, we can have 4 processes inside one chemical reactor. Because yeah, the next tier one, which gives us 16 recipes in parallel, is actually ZPM. I just want everything to despawn, is the problem. I don't want to pick them up. We don't need those machines. And I just wanted to mention, this is the first time that I'm making this machine. Looks cool. Anyways, maintenance hatch, the controller, some more casings, some pipe casings like so, some tungsten steel coils, and I guess more casings. There is also a chance that I'm going to need way more casings. Let's order 64. This stupid thing is big. Okay, let's not make this one super complicated. All I want over here is some sulfuric acid from GregTech as well as hydrofluoric acid. Maybe also salt water, but I'm not sure. So for the moment we're going to have a 2x2 drawer, some mechanical pipes like so. That's the hydrogen sulfide. I did mention using pipes is not a very good idea, but unfortunately mechanism does not have a filtering system for fluids. So what we're going to do is that we're just going to use a pipe in order to extract the hydrogen sulfide, which I guess it doesn't really matter. We can do it something like this. Yep, that goes in. Now the question is, if I give you oxygen, what do you give me? Sulfuric acid. Okay. I should have locked it. I had to make a bit of a change over here because you cannot craft multiple fluids inside one machine with different circuits. So hydrogen sulfide was not really going to work. Instead, we just insert the sulfur. We will get sulfur dioxide, sulfur trioxide, and then sulfuric acid using water. So that part is fine. Let us try to get some hydrofluoric acid, which I think that's the only thing I have to do. That's hydrofluoric acid. And I'm assuming if I add more sulfur, it's not going to be a big deal. It can do both of them at the same time. Maybe not. You're supposed to do 4 things at the same time, dude. Well, you're not giving me the sulfuric acid, is the thing. Dude, it's not even 4 operations, it's just the one. Bathed into my eyes. Those were the eyes of a person who could not figure it out in one machine. So instead, we will have just 3 normal chemical reactors. The first one is just mixing sulfur with hydrogen so that we would be able to get hydrogen sulfide. The second one mixes it with oxygen and we get sulfuric acid. And the final one up here just takes hydrogen and fluorine and gives us hydrofluoric acid. Why do we need those? Well, I'm using them over here. This setup that we have over here makes us polytetrafluoroethylene, or go to hell, nitric acid, and aqua regia. And we need all of those in order to progress. Previously, I was using mechanism, so we do have a janky setup here. We can remove the quantum entangler U and U and instead just have an entangled block, you know, for hydrofluoric acid. That should make us tetrafluoroethylene. And now that we have substituted that, we don't need this setup. And this one supplies us with chlorine, which I don't know where it goes. Here is an ender tank for chlorine. We just substitute it with this one, like so. Then this setup is also not necessary. It's the chlorine from mechanism. I thought to myself, while we are here, we might as well try to also electrolyze some salt water, you know, in order to get some more chlorine as well as the sodium hydroxide. The only thing that I did is that I added one more chemical reactor and I'm exporting gas tiers inside. Oh, and by the way, a few episodes ago when we were making polybenzimidazole, I did mention that refined storage, the import bus, cannot extract fluids from the machines from GregTech. According to one of the comments, I get paid by author of AE2 in order to say bad things about refined storage. Yeah, of course, he pays me $2 million per day. No, but you might notice, this is an electrolyzer. We have hydrogen, we have chlorine, we have an import bus. It has a filter for hydrogen, whitelist for fluids, and also speed upgrades. You can play with whatever you want, it's not going in. Same setup over here with AE2. An import bus which doesn't require any sort of configuration, and you might also notice that the fluid disk is full. And just to show you that there is no cheatiness, yes, some of the hydrogen is missing. We have 123 buckets. Here we have way more. Maybe it's full of chlorine. Well, it doesn't really matter. The whole point was that it works. On the other hand, what I have to do with refined storage is that I need to put some sort of a tank and then import it from the tank. Yeah, now it's dropping. So yes, for saying good things about good mods, you don't need to get paid. Of course, another perk of Applied Energistics is that you can import everything with one import bus. Here you need one for items, one for fluids. A bit of time later, I think I did manage to cover everything as best as I can. Yes, we are missing a lot, but that is because I need to have more automations later on. But I kind of like the roof. I made it out of framed blocks. Oh, and yes, this place is called LCR, which does not stand for Large Chemical Reactors. It stands for Lash's Chemical Resort. But just to do a very small recap, we're making sulfuric acid, we're making hydrofluoric acid, and we're using salt water in order to get chlorine. And also sodium hydroxide. Oh, and by the way, I did install a ring. We can teleport back home. Yes. Before wrapping up today's episode, there is something that we have to do inside the clean room. First off, you might notice that it's now way taller. This is the maximum size, which is 15 by 15 by 15, and it's still cleaning up. Yeah. Takes a bit of time, it's HV. And yeah, this is exactly the maximum size. So what we want to do over here is to add the large circuit assembling facility. Why? Because then we don't need circuit assemblers anymore. We can just have one multi-block. And if the past is any indication, multi-blocks are way better than single block machines. So honestly speaking, this is not a horrifying recipe. We just need 2 robot arms, which we should be able to craft. We already have the circuits. The clean room is contaminated, so we can't craft circuits at this very moment. I should install parallel control hatches for like everything. But that's graphene. I don't know how I'm making graphene. I guess it's not in the blast furnace. It's fine. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Elite Circuit Assembler. That's already quite a bit of an achievement. But we want to be able to upgrade it to U, Large Circuit Assembling Facility. Thankfully, the casing is the large scale assembler casing. And if you guys remember, we have already made like 200 of them, 56 of that remains. The rest of this should be super easy then. I think this was the most difficult multi-block I have ever assembled. If I was successful. And I was not. Actually, that was my boo-boo. Instead of an output bus, I installed an output hatch. So yeah, it was just missing that block. But I'm actually pretty happy with this. Making circuits is going to be way easier. Are you done, by the way? Yes, we're clean. So I don't really remember when it was, but I said we're going to use liquid tin and not soldering alloy in order to make the circuits. But since we already need soldering alloy for a lot of things, including our assembly lines at the reactor area, I think maybe we should automate this. It doesn't really matter, it's just a teeny tiny bit cheaper, but takes more time. So honestly speaking, any extractor will do. I had all the materials to make the EV one, we're going with EV. I just have to make sure that I don't mess up the power. Here is your pump, just in case you can't output. Man, I don't have a converter. Okay, it's fine. It generally needs to be a 1 amp converter, but this is 4 amps, which honestly speaking, it's fine. It should work. Yeah, you're getting power. I'm going to use an export bus with a crafting card, 1 speed upgrade, and export soldering alloy. Yeah, it's working. So this setup that we had for smelting tin is no longer necessary. We can remove it. I have already transferred the patterns to the crafters and I think we're operational. So if I want to make, I don't know, 10 of the HV nano processors, are you gonna work? Oh no, power. I forgot about power. LUV 4 amp energy converter, LUV energy hatch, LUV energy hatch. We're good. And now you should do something. Maybe. Oh, the items are not in yet. I think we're crafting SMD. What? What? Oh, you already crafted that? What? I didn't even see that. I don't know, let's make 10 EV circuits? At least I can watch. That was instant. It just blinked. But the whole point of having multi-blocks is that we want them to work faster, so we will have a few elite parallel control hatches. And we're out of quantum stars. It's fine, it's being made manually. Let's get 5 more. Now that we have the multi-block machine, we don't need the single block ones anymore. And I guess the only important thing that I have to do at this very moment is that we need to upgrade all of these machines with a parallel control hatch, which I think goes there. Yes, you can also go there. So they're going to work 3 times as fast, and I also need to upgrade the power hatches. You know, currently it's IV, we need to upgrade them to LUV. I was upgrading the machines, and do you notice what kind of a boo-boo I was making? This is an IV energy hatch, this is an LUV cable, and an LUV converter. That would have been a horrifying boo-boo. Yeah, now it's LUV, 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 LUV. All of the machines have been upgraded to ZPM, so they're going to work way faster, and now we need some parallel control hatches for other machines. Definitely the extruders. I think 1 for the mixer? Why not? I really need to automate Radon because I just realized I need so many quantum stars. But for the moment we have 100 buckets. That should last for a while. Anyways, we shall have another hatch for the bender and definitely 1 for the wire mill. It's not really slow, but we have so many wires to craft. I got the quantum stars, but we have a bit of a problem. It says that the circuit assembly can have a parallel control hatch, but whenever I place it, it doesn't really work. You see? Now it's working. I mean, maybe you don't need that. It's every 6 ticks, few ticks. And I'm not doing anything wrong. I even put it on the back. You know, the exact same spot. I guess that's not very important. Problem with the transport rings is that you don't know where you have to go. Yes. We're going to install more parallel control hatches for the assembly factories. And then we're going to give it a test on how fast it's going to work. How long does it take to make 1 stack of nano processor mainframe? The metals are going to take time, but the rest should be super crazy fast. It is super crazy fast. Oh my goodness. Oh boy, you have no idea how much of a difference that make. Cool. I don't have to worry about circuits. Just by looking at the crafting, you might notice the bottlenecks. One of them is obviously the arc furnace in order to make annealed copper. It's a single block machine and maybe we need to make the multi-block. The production of electrum is very slow because I'm using thermal expansion. An epoxy circuit board. Currently I'm just using chemical reactors in order to do that and it takes a while, which is not great. And you're out of something. Oh. In any case, one of the things that I have to absolutely do next episode is to start making new epoxy for the new circuits. So maybe we also transfer them to multi-blocks? I don't know. Alright guys, I'm back at the graveyard because I had to make a very small expansion. First things first, we pay our respects to Lord Fez with a flower. Guard him well. Thank you. Also, I have moved Lady Cinnabon from over there to over here. She was supposed to be buried under a cherry tree, so now she's here. But let me try and get some of the graves. I have my anvils. The first grave of today shall be Sir Farming, with a crate of onions. I'm a jerk, I know. I'm sorry. Oh, and by the way, Fallen Cubit asked for a rune of air. So here is the rune of air, and we cover it. That looks horrible. Thankfully, I have like one grass. I think I killed an Enderman or something? Yeah, a bit better. Somebody has an ancient soul. Jasper. Lovely. I had to read the comments in order to understand what the hell am I missing, but first off we have Sir Mokman, and we have Chef Great Gaming. And since he's a chef, here is a pot. We also have BD Gamer, so you go over here, and he asked for a Patrick Star. So there you go. And I guess we just have to make it a bit mossy. Nice. We also have Sir Oinkers, who asked for a pink terracotta. So there you go. Also tomorrow is Valentine's Day, maybe we should put something for the couples. Yep, there you go. And finally, we have Sir Hexagon Void. Somebody asked me for a grave with a purple heart and I can't find his comments. Other than him, I think I got everyone. But with that, ladies and gentlemen, I think it's also a good time to wrap up the episode. Thank you so much for watching and I hope you enjoyed it. Till the next one, bye bye.